Hi there, it's Karen here. Welcome back. And today we're going to start working on our Christmas journal. I'm going to, as I mentioned in my previous video, I've decided to do an accordion journal because I really like making accordion journals. Had made one for a little while. I made one earlier this year. And I just thought it would be just a nice little project. I didn't want to do a big journal for Christmas this year. So I thought I'd make this one a little smaller than the one I made before. So the one I made earlier in the year is this one. If you've been with me a while, you've seen this one. This is my Moon Goddess journal. And it's quite a chunky one. And this one has got six folded pages. If you count them as sort of 6 pages that are folded on the outside, if you can see what I mean. And I think there's 5 on the other side. So I'm just going to do 4 folds, but yeah, I'm going to do an accordion journal. I've added the hashtag accordion collaboration, which Amy at Crafty Cat is doing with her friends. But it's like an open invitation to join in the collaboration if you want to make an accordion journal as well. So I thought, well, I wanted to make one, and I might as well join in with a collaboration at the same time. Mine is going to be a bit different to what Amy's doing. And some of the other ladies, I think that most of them are doing the same thing. I had to go at making the one that Amy's doing. If you've seen her video, I will link it below anyway when she starts her first video in the collaboration. When she's making one out of a file folder, and I had to go at doing it. Didn't do a fantastic job, but I've kind of got the idea. I thought, well, I might come back and do something like this another time. I just wanted to see, how easy it was to make. I followed the tip that Carol Laws gave when because she's made one, and she gave a bit of a tip on how to get started so you get this sort of zigzag effect. So I did that, and I mean it's all a little bit rough and ready, but at least I've got the style. So I might do one of those maybe next year. But I thought, well, I'll get a little prototype made, and then it's there if I fancy doing one another time. But for this time, I'm going to do the sort of accordion journal I've done before, which is starting with this like a hardcover base for my covers. These are old the covers of old work diaries that I brought home, and I used all the contents of the old diaries for my glue pages for quite a while when I first retired. But I've left with some covers, and I've used certainly at least 3 of them already. I think I've got 1 or 2 left. Maybe only 1 more after this one, I'm not sure. I didn't have a huge number. So that's my cover, and of course that's the size of the journal is going to be. And I am going to use Amazon packaging, which is what I've used in the past. It would be very easy to use file folder to do this, and I did consider using file folder. Just thought with all the folding it might end up being a bit too chunky. I wasn't sure. Also, I've got a couple of quite thick grocery bags that I thought would also work quite well. It's really nice and sturdy. I nearly used some of that, but I didn't want to mix the 2 substrates because I thought this one would be thinner and it would look it might not work so well to mix the thicknesses of the substrate. So I thought, well, I'll stick with this sort of quite relatively thin packaging because by the time it's been covered with paper, it thickens up nicely anyway. So that's the kind of introduction to it. And I have already started just folding, getting the size of the paper that I want to use. So I've started with this piece of Amazon packaging, and I have folded it. So I've already got my first, I'm going to sort of do it from the inside of the cover. So I should glue that to the cover like that. And then I've got my first 2 folds really. But that's like the first outside fold. And then I'm just going to be adding paper until I've got it to the size that I want. So I've got a couple more pieces of packaging ready cut but not ready folded. This is actually a piece that I used, I think, when I've been doing, I don't know, possibly doing some jelly printing or something. It's got some bits of paint on it and stuff, but of course it'll all get covered, it doesn't matter. So I have done the first fold on this one. So what I will do is I will glue that into there like that, and then just keep on folding. So I can take this away now. So I'm going to carry on trying to do that, so just get the basic construction done. Whether we'll get any further than that today, I don't know. I don't know whether I'll be able to start doing any decorating. So that's my first fold. And then I need to... So it's not going to be perfectly precise because they're quite difficult to get beautifully precise, but I'm going to do the best I can to get the folds nice and sharp and get them lined up as best I can. But of course, as you work through, it is more difficult to get it perfectly aligned. So, but as long as it's inside the confines of the cover, I don't mind too much if it's not perfect. Because nothing is perfect in the crafting world, certainly not in my crafting world. Perfection is something we strive for but never quite achieve. So I'm just going to fold and fold. So we've now got, so on the outside I will now have 1, 2, 3 folds. I only want 4, so I'm going to add one more piece of paper. So I've got one final piece. So they've all been cut to the right height. I didn't think you'd need me to see me doing that, cutting it to the height, because that was just a bit of a faffy job. So I'm just going to overlap this, so I will glue these together. I think I can kind of just fold this. It doesn't have to be so precisely folded, this one, because I just tuck it in however far it needs to be tucked to get it to the right spot. So this, it's more or less straight at the bottom and the top. They might need a little trimming. So I can now put this under here. I fold it, then I can tuck it into about there. Right. Make sure it's lined up with the one beneath. Kind of there. And we've got a fold here that I don't really want because it's in the wrong place, of course. I'm going to fold this back to here. Right, this has got a little tear in it, but I think once it's all glued down, it's not going to be hopefully it's not going to be a problem. And this is, let's just try and make these folds as, so I'm just going to pop that in there. I'm just going to tidy up the folds here, make sure it's all aligned and not going crooked. Don't want to go crooked right at the last minute. So got that, and then we've got this one. That's about right. Now let's see. I think that might be the last bit we need. I need to just trim it. So we will tuck that in there until so it's lined up there. And then I think we'll be putting, hang on, so this is the front there, and this will be the back. Is that right? Yeah. So then we've got going there, there, like that, like that, like that. So I need to just trim this a bit. So it doesn't need to go all the way across, I don't think. It's going to be just it's a little too wide. I might just see how this, take that bit away, take these two pieces away, and I can measure it on here. So I want it to glue roughly there. Actually, I can leave it as it is and it will fit on this outside cover, I think. So I think we'll leave it at that. I'm not going to trim any off. Always trim some off later on. So I think the first thing I need to do is join those three pieces together. So I've got a single unit. So this one, I think is going like, are we going like that? Or, no, going like that. That's it. Get it round the right way, otherwise we'll be all over the place. Right. Okay. So, I think what I need to do is glue the flap. I think I can use the glue stick for this bit. And here we go. Let's hope this works out. And I'm going to be trying to make the folds. I shall bone fold the folds, I think, make sure they're nice and precise. Should I do the, maybe I'll do the, no I won't. I've got this bit mitered here, not because I did that, it was how it came, so I don't really want it mitered because you end up with a bit of the paper showing. No, not that way. Get it the right way. Is it going that way? Yes, it's going. Let me just check. Are we going that way? Yes, I think so. Okay. So line that up. Just give myself a little tiny slither of room. Fold that down. Right, so we've got that. I just want to make sure these folds are really sharp. Where's my bone folder? It was here. Okay, so now we've got to add this piece to here. So what I think I'll do is I'm just going to put a bit of glue on each of the edges rather than, because I don't want to cover, I'm not going to go right in, so it doesn't need glue all over it. So I will use the art glitter glue. Hope I get it lined up correctly. Maybe I'll use the other glue. That might be a better idea because I think it'll give me more, maybe it'll give me a bit more wiggle room if I get it lined up wrong. This is the tacky glue. It doesn't grab quite as quickly. So do that bit. And I'll do the same here. I want a certain amount of overlap, but I'm just not sure how much, so I'm just going to, I'm not going to leave pockets and things because it's all going to get covered up. So we want that to be lined up. Let's get this out of the way. This is the tricky one. So I want that fold to line up with that fold. And that one to line up with there. So I want to lie that flat, fold that in. Just got to go up a touch, like that. Now I'll be in the right spot. Yeah, that's close enough, I think. I think it is. I got this up the wrong way. Doesn't really matter, but. Am I doing it? Am I doing this right way? Does it matter? Got myself confused. There we are. It still looks like it's a little high here. I may need a little trim at some point. Okay, so I think we're all good. So it's not completely lined up, but as long as it's within the book, and I'm just going to trim a bit off up the top here. It seems to have just gone a little bit out of alignment there. I think it is the nature of this kind of accordion book that it's not particularly precise. But I like making them. I really enjoy making these. Okay, take that tiny slither off. So we have, it's now upside down. Have I got this right? So that's the front, and that's the back. I think it's all joined up together. So it starts like that. That's going to open like that, and it's upside down. Okay, it's going to open. It's going to go like that, and like that. That join there. That's there. Now, how many folds? I wanted 4, didn't I? Have I got 4? No, that's joined. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I have. And then that's going to go on here. Okay, good. And it looks like it fits inside quite nicely. Okie dokie. Now the next thing I want to do, when I've done these other journals, I've done a couple of these, and this one, I've taken the papers right across the joins and then folded them afterwards so that the paper, it kind of all flowed into the next page kind of thing. That's what I tended to do on both the other two. On this one I don't want to do that. I want each page to be individual. But I do want to have something on the outside of these folds to kind of add a bit of reinforcement. As I'm not going to take the papers over the folds, I thought I still need to... Oh, this is... some glue's leaked out here. Or have we just glued it shut somehow? Yeah. Got a bit of glue leakage up here. Tight it a bit. Okay, that's going to be fine. Just don't want it to stick together until it's dried. So what I thought I would do on all of these outer edges is I'm going to add some book page. The only one I could find that was tall enough was this Italian book page that I got from a kit from Rachel at Roxy Creations. And I'm going to edge all my outer edges with this, because because I just think that will make make those folds stronger and make it more of a kind of a book rather than a pull out. And hopefully the pages will, I hope that'll work, just to keep each page separate and individual. And then I can just glue within. I don't have to worry about the edges, is what I'm thinking, because the alternative is to just, I don't know what, well, I don't know whether you could try it with fabric, but I just thought I need to put something on those edges. So that's what I'm going to do. How will it work? I don't know, but I think I need to start with doing that. So let's have a go. Let's put that away. And I think I'm actually going to put it on the edge of each of the covers as well. So I think I'll start with the cover edges. I inked it because it might just show when this is glued on. It's going to glue on here, and then it'll get covered. At the other side, there's a bit poking out the side that might be visible. And I inked it and it looks okay, but I think it would look even better if I put some book page on it, like that. I think I'll go for one of the slightly wider pieces actually. So that's what I think I'd like to do to start with, is add some book page to these edges. So I'll do a couple and then I'll either skip or speed up or something. And then we'll put it together. So glue that on. Oh, how much have I left to go around? Plenty. I might just put it on a little bit further. Make sure it's well covered. Snip this off. And do the same on the other side. I put the glue on the paper this time rather than on the book, because it might, I don't know how well it'll glue to the other side of this. We will see. And just wrap it around, and then it gets rid of that rough edge, and then it won't, if any of it shows, it'll look nice. So that's that one. And then I need to do each of these. So that's one. I'm running out of this book. Get another one out. It's just my WA magazines. I read them and then I can glue on them. Okay, got one here. I folded it, but actually I think I'll glue and then fold. Should I glue it up high enough? Take it off the gluey bit. I'm just going to line it up there. Just needs to be, wasn't quite lined up at the bottom. That's better. Still slipped up. Yeah. The trouble with having the fold already there is that you really need to line it up with that fold. So I think I won't fold it in advance next time. I'm just going to trim this off at the top. And where are we? No, I'll use this. No, that hasn't worked. It's come away from the edge. I want it to properly glue to the edge. I don't want to make the edges wider. Oh, I'm just going to leave it now because it's too hard to... Okay, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Okay, there's one. Do the next one. Let's move this out of the way. Okay. So I'll carry on doing these. Either speed it up or I'll cut it out if I've got lots of other stuff I'm doing. It depends how far I get today, really. I suspect I won't get very far. Oh, I forgot to ask how you all are. Hope you're all well. We've had a very good weekend, actually. So we had our granddaughter sleeping over with us last night. Well, her mum and dad could have an evening out. We've been saying to them for ages they ought to do that, and they've got some friends they wanted to have an evening with who are moving away, so it was an opportunity for them to do that, and we were more than happy to have our little Lissa. And she was such a lovely, she was so good. So I don't know about any of you, if you are aware of Strictly Come Dancing. I think in other countries it's Dancing with the Stars. We have Strictly here, and it's just started, the new series for the year. They always do it leading up to Christmas, and it's my favourite show of the year. And Alyssa's getting quite into it, so it was. We said yes, we're going to watch that together, or at least as much of it as she can manage before she needs to go to bed, and have a nice Chinese takeaway, which is what we did, and it was really nice. We had a really nice evening. She didn't watch all of it. She watched about 4 or 5 of the dancers before she got a little bit bored, because I think there's too much chat in between for her, with the judges and with all the rest of it. So she went off to play with Grandad for a bit until it was time to get ready for bed. But she went to bed really well. She made no fuss whatsoever. Got herself all ready. I mean, she's 7 now. She's old enough to do these things, but you're never sure if they're going to sort of play up a bit when they're with Nan and Grandad. But no, she was very, very good. And then this morning, we arranged to kind of do the handover. So we met up this morning with her mum and dad at a pub that do breakfasts, and also my other daughter and her husband and little Arlo, they joined us as well. And we all had breakfast together, and it was lovely. It was just nice to have a bit of a family get together, because we don't very often manage to do that, all of us. Do it when we can, but obviously everybody has busy lives. Even we do sometimes. So that was lovely. So in fact, Hannah even suggested we make it a bit of a monthly thing, that we meet up once a month for breakfast. But yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to do that. Okay. And I don't know how straight I've got these on, but I don't suppose it'll show very much anyway by the time I've added the paper you know, the Christmas papers onto the pages, it won't terribly notice whether the script is completely straight on here. Not sure this is well burnished down. So how are we doing on this side? Is that all of them? Is there one more? One more. Let me just check. I have to keep folding it up to make sure I'm getting it right. Yep, alright, so there's just this last one. Okay, so yeah, I've updated you now on our family activities, so I'll speed things up. Right, so they're all glued on now. So I've got all my edges with a bit of book page just to make sure they're reinforced. So I had pre-torn all of my strips apart from one because I miscalculated, because my other journal for some reason had 7 on one side and 6 on the other. No, 6 on one side and 5 on the other, that's right, on the back. But this one seems to have 4 on both sides. I don't know how that's worked out, but okay. Anyway, so I think now I've just been trying to decide, do I decorate my cover and then glue it on, or do I glue it on and then decorate the cover? I think, I'm trying to think, because it's all a case of how do I want to decorate my cover. So I think what I feel like doing with this one is doing possibly a bit of collaging, or doing some paper rather than fabric, which I've done on, I think I did fabric on the last one. I think the previous one I did with some mixed media. This one I want to do some paper collaging, I think. And it's a case of, would it be better to do that first then glue this in, because I'll probably wrap the paper around, and then this can go on top of that. I mean, it is red, so I could leave that red border showing, and that wouldn't be an issue because it's Christmas. Maybe that would be the neatest thing to do. Leave the red border. Bear with, I'm going to get some paper and see how it looks with, or will it be better? I think it might look nice to have the red border actually and stay within that, as long as I can keep it, the border to be the same all the way around. That might look quite nice. I'm just going to get some paper and then we'll... Right, I've pulled out some papers. As I've mentioned previously, I am planning to use the Nostalgic Noel for my Christmas journal this year. However, I could not help myself. I have also bought Rachel from Roxy Creations' new Christmas kit, her journal pages kit, and her background pages kit. I just love her kits. I may have said this before, so I'm going to mix it in because I just feel they will go together quite well. I think the colours will go really well from the two kits together. So I thought what I will do is possibly use a piece of this on the front cover. I do really like this one. Or, I mean, I've got choices and I haven't quite decided yet. I mean, I could do that, but all I'm trying to ascertain is how that would look with the dark red background, and I think that would look fine. I could even go round it actually with some gold. I could put a bit of gold edging on as well just to finish it off. So, and there's almost certainly going to be a bit of trim going down the front. So I think rather than trying to wrap the papers around, I think that would probably not be a good idea. I'm going to just do a front cover like that with one of these papers. Trying to choose is not going to be easy. Look at that, isn't that lovely? I mean, they're just fabulous, these papers. All her papers are always fabulous. I love them. So, yeah, so they're going to feature as well. I mean, this is only a little journal. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these papers. I may even have to make another one. I don't know. Maybe I will make a second one. Who knows? But that means that because I'm going to do that, I can actually glue these into the covers. And then it'll be sort of like a completed book that we can then start working on next week. And I think for this I'm going to use my tacky glue, and shall I put it on the paper or on the... I think I might put it on here. Yeah, I'm going to put it on here and then a bit around the edges. So I want to cover the white. I'm hoping that I have cut it. Yes, I think the height should be okay. The only bit that was going to show white might have been this edge, which I've now covered up, so that's all right. So around this edge, the edge of the that is right, isn't it? Yeah, edge of this paper, and along here. Around this edge here, and along this. Should be, yeah, I think that gets glued down as well. And then I'm going to put glue all over this. Right. I'll just try and get it in the right place without having to mess about too much. At least with this glue you've got a little bit of time, hopefully, to wriggle it about a bit and get it in the right place. Just make sure I cover all the white. That same top and bottom. Yep. And I'll just get my, oh, not that one. Get my little card. So there'll be glue